And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this tour of our 10-star home. This is a virtual tour, obviously. I'm sitting comfortably at home amid COVID-19 lockdown, and the tour I'll be taking you on today has been pre-recorded. So it's a video I took a few weeks ago. There has been some progress made on the house since then, but we'll update this presentation in a few weeks' time. In the meantime, this tour will give you a pretty good indication of what's happening at the 10-star home, which is due for completion quite soon. The 10-star home has been a collaboration between SUHO and a number of our partners who are listed on the screen here. All of our partners have contributed products and made this project possible, and we're very grateful to everyone that's been part of this project. Just to begin with, here's a site plan of the house. It's not a very large block. The block is 310 square metres and the house itself is about 115 square metres. And looking at this plan, this long side of the house is the north. If you can see my cursor moving on the screen there. The street frontage is to the west over here, and that's where we're going to begin our tour. So I'll just go to the video now, and this is looking at the western facade of the 10-star home in the centre of the screen, and to the right of that is the 8-star home, which is also being built at the moment. So you can see that it faces fully west. There's very little shade on that western facade. We will have some plantings go in there, but they're not going to provide a lot of shade. So we've done a reasonable amount to try and give some protection against the western sun, which is going to be pretty intense in summer. So just moving up a little closer, you can see that this timber pergola structure with gates. All of the timber in this house is blackbutt, forestry certified timber. The cladding you see there on the right of the screen is matrix cladding from James Hardie. We have Colorbond Maxline cladding over here from BlueScope and Revolution Roofing. And then we see that timber is expressed in the soffit of the roof here as well. And just moving to that western facade, these two large blades provide a bit of shelter to the window from those angles, and the large eaves to the north. This video was taken at around 10 or 10:30 in the morning, so the sun is quite high and to the east. The windows on this house are by Ocnolux. They are triple glazed, thermally broken windows. At the top there, I'll just pause that for a second, you can see this external Venetian blind which is being installed. It's electrically operated. The cable's still visible at the moment, and that will be drawn down by the building automation system or manually overridden as required to provide shade to the east, to the west there in the afternoons. Of course, in the winter we'll allow as much of that to come inside. So just going back to the floor plan now, we're at the entry here. We'll come in through the entry and look down this long space. You'll see the kitchen in the background here, but the first room we'll come into is this master bedroom. So we've got quite a lot of height on this north side of the house, so as to give us some high level glazing to capture as much sun as we can. You can see it there coming in to the floor. The floor is actually concrete, but in these images you'll see that it's covered with a cardboard protector sheet while the trades are still working inside. On the left there you see the brick wall. The brick is continued right through the house. and this is by PGH, the bricks, and they provide us with a large amount of thermal mass within the insulation of the house. So coming into the master bedroom now, there's a blade wall there separating the main room from the joinery behind. That's looking at the window there facing west. As you can see, the lighting hanging from the ceiling has been installed but has not been powered up yet. All the lighting fixtures have been provided by Beacon Commercial, but as they're not operational, all the light that you can see in this video is daylight, so it's still quite a bright space. So behind that blade wall we have a large amount of cabinetry, cupboards, wardrobes, drawers, and in this very end cupboard here we have the heat recovery ventilation unit. This will enable fresh air to be provided to all spaces in the house. The house is quite airtight, achieving 0.6 air changes per hour, which is at passive house standard. So this unit is vital for bringing in fresh air to the house. It does so without losing the energy in that air, so when we're exhausting warm air, we're not drawing cold air in. The air that's drawn in is warmed up at the same time. We're now in the ensuite. That's glazed bricks on the wall, PGH again, glazed tile elsewhere. Cabinetry is in installation at the moment, so the tops haven't been put in there, you'll see. All the brass fittings were manufactured by CB Ideal Tapware, who are based in Adelaide, and as part of our sustainable approach to try and use local product as much as possible, all of this tapware is polished but not plated. So that's one more step we remove from the manufacturing process to make it a little more sustainable. It does mean that the brass will tarnish a little over time, can be repolished, but we're looking forward to seeing it age a little in the next few months. Another thing about unplated brass is that it has actually got antibacterial, antimicrobial properties, which is obviously of great benefit, and we're becoming very aware of these things in this time. Shower screen, which I am very pleased with the installation lining up with the tiles there, hence I spent a bit of time with the camera on that one. So back into the master bedroom here, that's a fixed window here. All of the glazing systems are Bioquilux and triple glazed. Light switches haven't been installed yet. They're all part of ABB's package that they've supplied. Just coming back into this corridor space. Again, we'll just go back to the plan there. So we're now standing in this entry area, and to the right of the picture you'll see this cavity where the joinery is going to be installed. And this first part of it is the electrical riser. Just a mass of cables at the moment, some switchboards and automation and monitoring equipment going in here. It's the only penetration in the building for electrical. We minimise that, minimise penetrations so as to maintain air tightness. So below that mass of cables is the conduit that comes in under the slab. This space in here will actually become the laundry with cabinet doors across the whole front that fold away, but otherwise quite discreet and hidden at other times. So moving into a more central spot in the house, and while it's not a large house, that height provides us with a great sense of space. And turning into the main bathroom, much the same finishes in here, different shape of room, so a different layout, the same tapware, top's not yet in, brass details in the tiles as well. So there we have a sliding door. It's a tilt and slide door, so the sliding panel actually tips out at the top and then the bottom and slides across. So it maintains really good air tightness while it's closed. So we're now standing in this study space, which is essentially part of the circulation of the house, but is also a functional space. So just looking a bit into the living area there. In this study nook we have a joinery unit, small storage, and a desk which is currently being used by one of the electricians, with shelving going to be put in above that. So the desk is continuous with the wall lining, which is continuous with the ceiling. It's a lovely finish, beautifully installed by the carpenters on this project. So Woolcut Constructions have been one of our other partners on this project, and they've been managing the construction. Coming into the second bedroom, so that thermal mass of brick still continuing. We have a small courtyard in here. We're built right up against the southern boundary, which means we don't have any windows on the south. So this courtyard brings natural light into the ensuite and bathroom, just across the courtyard there, and has been is providing light and into this bedroom, and we've got a full-size door there so that courtyard is useful to whomever is in this room. And once again, built-in cabinetry. You can just see through the door there, and here again the what would ordinarily be full height doors, but this is an extra high part of the house, so we have high level glazing as well, right through into this dining area and into the kitchen as well. The high level glazing has awning windows in it, all operated electrically and connected to the building management system, automation system. So looking now from what is the dining area into the living room, with that brick continuing right around that exterior perimeter. So for what is a relatively small house, you can see that it feels very spacious, in part due to this really quite dramatic height in here. These high level windows also have external Venetian blinds, so that we can close out the light and heat in summer as required. You can see that it's very dusty and dirty in here, but that's to be expected on an active construction site. Get a glimpse of the floor there. So Mirror Floor will be coming through and doing a final polish of that concrete floor in the next week or so. You can see that it's quite a dark finish, but it will have exposed aggregate in the polish, sort of a salt and pepper finish. The darkness is to aid in retaining heat in winter, or absorbing heat in winter, as part of the 10-star rating requirement. So So just looking around at the cabinetry here. Not a particularly straightforward piece of joinery, but well made. That's me reaching blindly for the handle there. That's actually the integrated fridge. And below it, a freezer. Now the freezer has an ice maker in at the top there, and that's all plumbed in underneath the cabinetry to the tap, to below the sink where the tap is. So looking back into the living area, you can see in a few places around the house these openings in ceilings and walls. These are the vents for the heat recovery ventilation system, so some will be drawing off exhaust air and others will be supplying fresh air. And this is the third bedroom at the back of the house on the eastern side. A single awning window. Again, you can see HRV ducts coming through. And similarly in the opposite corner, they'll obviously be cut back to the ceiling level with grills over them. One's drawing out the air, one's supplying fresh air. All of the switches that you see there are sent back to the automation system. There's the Ocnolux awning showing how that tips open for ventilation. All of these windows that are within reach, that is at the lower level, are manually operated. All of those above, out of reach, are part of the automation system, which can of course be overridden by the remote controls. So we have the same tilt system here. Okay, and now we're just standing outside here in this paved area. Well, I don't think it's paved at the time that I made this video, but it will be shortly. This enclosure you see here will house a lot of the system components, including the heat pump hot water system, battery, inverter, a switchboard, and other components of the electrical system. This is the exterior of that sliding door with the glazing above. You can see a cable hanging down here. That's partly for operating the window, but as I said, these also have external Venetian blinds. Just beyond what will be this paved area, the pergola continues. You can see that the neighbours' houses are quite high above their blocks, at least a couple of metres above, plus their two-storey houses. This pergola will have a deciduous vine grown over it, allowing us to create shade in the summer, but then dropping its leaves to allow the sun through in winter. So we have a timber deck, protective boards over it while the landscape works were being done. So a garden bed along the fence there. You can see the brackets on the wall here. These angled brackets will carry a stone top. to allow, when these windows open in, to have an alfresco spot adjacent to the kitchen. So a couple of large retaining walls up there, as well as the fence above. It's where we feel quite low down in here, but those retaining walls contain garden beds, so it'll be quite green once we get things growing. This is the James Hardie matrix cladding again, just with a paint finish. Black butt timber over, going up into the soffit, matrix cladding on the fascia there, with colour bond around the top of it. So this timber has an oil finish and can be refinished as time goes on, or we can allow it to weather a little and grey off. Either way, I think it'll remain quite beautiful. So that's the kitchen window there, and on the bedroom again we have these two blade walls, similar to what we have at the front of the house, just in a slightly different arrangement. There's no fence on the southern boundary yet, which is what we're seeing over there as the pergola from the 8-star home. And the garden beds above, retaining walls. You can see that the 8-star home floor level is up here. That's because the 8-star home is in 2 levels. The front half of the house is at the same level as the 10-star, and the rear part of the house is a few steps up. So this is the bedroom 3 window seen from the outside. This window also has an external Venetian, hence the cable hanging down during installation. You can see where the blind is, tucked up neatly up there, and the guide tracks down the side, which will keep it in place as it comes down and is in the closed position. And river pebbles below that. And then just looking back the other way, we'll have a rainwater tank in here, yet to be installed and plumbed in, but it will be connected there through into the toilets and laundry. I'm actually standing on the 8-star home block, so I'm a little bit higher up here. The Ned Kelly rainhead there. So here we are up on the roof. Just to the right there you can see the intake and exhaust for the heat recovery ventilation. This is our courtyard into the bedroom, ensuite and bathroom, giving us the light in there. The house being built next door is the 8-star home. So this roof is a reasonable expanse of colour bond in shale grey. We have a few penetrations, all very carefully controlled for air tightness. So we'll have solar coming through, weather station monitoring coming through, and a television antenna as well. And at the rear there's a sewage vent. So again, just from a different angle and looking toward the west, you can see the city of Adelaide, and beyond that just a glimpse of Spencer Gulf. So that's our 10-star home, and I appreciate you taking some time to join us for this tour today. Thanks again to all our sponsors and partners. We've got quite a bit going on in our webinar series, so you're welcome to join us for any of these others. This week we're already into Tuesday, so we've got a few more remaining this week, and if you connect with us on LinkedIn or Facebook, you'll see regular updates to our webinar series in the coming weeks. I do encourage you, if you're interested, to go to 10starhome.com.au. That's the website for the house itself. It explains a bit more about what our partners have been providing and how they're involved. A bit more detail about the house than I've provided in this tour, or different details. You can also visit our website at suho.com.au, and if you want to get in touch with us, you can do so via email, studio@suho.com.au. That's the email directly to the design team, including myself. And you can call us on 1300 308 525. We're all working from home at the moment, as you might imagine, but calling that number will get a message to us at the very least. But again, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, there's a lot of ways of connecting with us. So I'm not sure if you have any questions for me. I hope you've been able to ask those in the chat. Heating and cooling demands, metre squared per year. I think this house is 3 megawatts. I'm just trying to remember the figure itself. If I have that wrong, Timo, I'll try and get in touch with you. If you want to flick me an email, I'll see if I can get the answer to you as soon as possible. But as a 10-star home, that's what we were required to achieve. 6-star is sitting at around 96. The 10-star is at about 3, so it's a pretty significantly efficient house. That said, that's the energy usage for the house. Heating and cooling demands, well, there is actually no heating or cooling in the house. We're relying on the building envelope to do the hard work with the shading elements that we've put around the house. And hopefully in one of our other presentations that Geraldine has been providing, you'll be able to see some more of the statistics and data about that. So in coming months we'll be monitoring the performance and hopefully providing more detail on how it does perform compared to how it was predicted to perform. That's one of the reasons we're actually undertaking this project, is to test reality against the software, and we're hoping to find some interesting data there. So again, thank you, and stay in touch with us and stay tuned to our webinar series.